Ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday night. Time for some Turnbuckle Talk. Episode 413, Phoenix Rises. My name is Chris Best. I'm with OMD. We don't have any Carl this week, so the inmates are running the asylum. OMD, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, brother. It was, a long, quiet day at work, but, it's that time of year and, the dampness outside really took away anything that we might have possibly had.
Yeah, it was a really wet day out there today, and yeah, it's one of those definitely one of those things that I did not enjoy, especially for my own knee. And Parrish goes, Carl, he lied to me. He's fired. Just
Yep.
kidding. Bubba is locked in, ready to go, but Parrish also has the first chat of the night, which came up actually before we went live.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, it did. And we
OMD,
acknowledged Parrish before we went live.
I'm acknowledging him now.
He is not my tribal chief.
Oh, he will be. But let's get
You
right
may
into it.
call him daddy. I don't know, but not me.
I don't call him anything. I call him Parrish. But let's get right into this. OMD, you've sent me an interesting story regarding a recent TNA signing. Tell me about it.
I did, and this is huge for TNA, and I am a huge fan of both of these people. And of course, I'm not getting the link now. Go figure. There it is. Okay. So, two of its most loyal superstars have signed new deals, Eddie and Alicia Edwards. This is fantastic for them. They've been a staple of TNA for years, carving a legacy that few can match. Eddie first joined the company in 2014, transitioning from Ring of Honor. He and Davey Richards did come over together. And he established himself as a top player. He's won the world title. He's won the X Division. He's won tag team championships and has reinvented himself multiple times. Being that underdog that we all know and love to where he is now as one of the most ruthless competitors, and his wife, Alicia. Thank you, Alicia. She has been there competing in the Knockouts division and being present in major feuds, although she doesn't wrestle nearly as often as I'd like to see her. But they are working together currently as part of the System, which is a faction that has dominated TNA for about the last year. With TNA being on the upward trajectory that they are, and I think that's in large part to this partnership that they have, these new contracts come at a time that's great for them. So your thoughts?
Yeah, good on Eddie Edwards for sticking around with TNA. He's been there, as you said. This is now his 11th year with the company. Everything he's done from he came in as a part of the Dragons or the American Dragons or something like that. Wasn't that? Yeah.
Wasn't the American Dragons? It was they were the American Wolves in
The
Ring of
American
Honor.
Wolves. That's
I
yeah.
believe they were just the Wolves when they went to TNA.
Yeah, but still they were just when I heard about that first signing back in 2014, I was so jacked that he went to TNA. I would have been more excited if he went to WWE, but because WWE also made a play for him at that time as well. But I remember that first signing where he said he had stated that I feel like I made this decision based on what I want for competition, and TNA had the better competition for him. And of course, they turned him into this giant star over there now, and he's one of the main players. He's one of the main reasons why I tune in on Thursday nights nowadays,
Right.
because I'm very intrigued to see what he does.
for me, like, I have been a fan of Eddie Edwards going back to the original Ring of Honor, where he's won the Ring of Honor heavyweight championship. So to see him go get that mainstream exposure for me was fantastic. And not a lot of people are going to remember or associate Eddie Edwards with Ring of Honor. They are going to associate him. They are going to associate him with TNA, and it's very much that Sting, Undertaker type mentality. Stay with the company that has done so much for you.
Yes. Parrish coming in and saying, did Golga sign? I wish Golga were still around, man. I love John Tenta. He's one of my favorite big guy wrestlers.
Yes. Parrish also letting you know that Parrish is wrestler for Daddy.
No, it's not. Not in Ontario, it's not. But this Alicia Edwards, I'm still learning about her. So what more can you tell me about her?
Very coming along, really watching her as she's come up through the ranks. We saw her work really a lot as an enhancement talent. She has gotten better, but you still don't see her wrestle as much. She is still more of the mouthpiece valet for the system. But I mean, not like the system needs a mouthpiece.
They've got several guys who can cut promos in that group. So,
but I mean, she's held the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. She's never held Knockouts Singles Gold. So I would like to see her get a little more involved. She was taking on a bit more of a hardcore type of identity and using kendo sticks quite a bit. Our friend Carl's favorite toy.
Yeah. I'm like I said, I'm only just a couple months into watching TNA since it moved to Sportsnet 360 up here, making it much easier for me to watch TNA.
Right.
So I'm still learning about her. There's actually several people on that TNA roster that I am still learning about, and good on them, good on her, good on Eddie for signing and keeping with the company that's, giving them what I feel like they deserve in this business. I hope that they stick around for a little bit longer. I actually hope that they are part of this partnership deal. Like we already saw JDC from the system a part of it.
Yep.
Why not see Eddie Edwards on our TV on NXT?
Right. We do have
Alicia Edwards as well.
We have Moose that is currently a part of it.
Yeah, Moose has got the whole thing with Obafemi, and that also means that we could see Eddie Edwards on our TNA screen, maybe coming in to help Moose out in their match at Roadblock.
Absolutely. And not a lot of people are going to remember this because it was a one-off, but we did have the American Wolves make an appearance on NXT a number of years ago when they were weighing their options on where to go.
Yeah, they were doing the same thing that James Storm was doing before James Storm decided to re-sign with TNA.
Yeah.
But you know what? Since we're in the realm of TNA, I feel like we should stick around there because we do have a story of a former TNA wrestler.
Yes, we do.
Who's going to be hanging up the boots this month. And I got to say this, a big, huge thank you to Homicide.
Yes.
Who will be hanging up the boots this month. He has announced that he is retiring from in-ring action after 31 years in the business. He's going to be doing a show for Outlaw Wrestling, and he announced that he will be having his last match on March 20th in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. He is currently the promotion's champion. Homicide began as part of the Wrecking Crew in Long Island and the Long Island Wrestling Federation, and soon made a name for himself in New Jersey, New York. Soon became a star in ROH, as we had mentioned, taking on like just a who's who of ROH and Steve Corino, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Bryan Danielson. He defeated Bryan Danielson actually to become the ROH World Champion. at Glory by Honor 4 in 2005. I actually remember watching that match on Fight Network.
Okay.
Held the title for 56 days before dropping it to Takeshi Morishima at the 5th Year Festival, Philadelphia. And then for almost 10 years, as it says here, he terrorized TNA Wrestling as part of the LAX, one of my most favorite stables in TNA history.
Right. And yes, thank you, Homicide. I mean, you have been an icon, especially on the independent wrestling scene. Looking at all the people you've brought up, helped to train, guys like a Loki, working with Hernandez, your work as LAX. This was something that I had heard about a couple of weeks ago, but I mean, again, in this business, we never say never. But yes, thank you so much, Homicide. Your contributions are too numerous to mention.
Yeah. We've got Chris Ruth coming in and saying, "Hi, guys. I'm not much of a WWE fan, but I really like the John Cena heel turn. The John Cena heel turn is just awesome." But yeah, disclaimer, Parrish is saying, the above topic is about pro wrestler named Homicide who is retiring. We here at Turnbuckle Studios do not support the actual act, obviously.
Right. No, we don't. Chris,
one of my
again, thank you. Oh, sorry,
go ahead.
I was going to say, Chris, thank you for your comment. I happened to be there for that history-making moment, and I was stunned.
Yeah, one of my favorite moments with Homicide was anytime him and Hernandez were the tag team champions.
Yeah.
Just
Absolutely.
I loved their runs with the titles.
Oh, I'm going to be honest with you. One of my favorite moments was when Eddie Kingston brought them back for the feud with Santana and Ortiz.
Mm-hmm.
And he had the OGs. But another one, and if you go back and look, there was an LAX match, and I can't remember his partner, but when Tyler Black got absolutely brutalized. For those that don't know, Tyler Black is now known as Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah, that was just and let's not forget, like they mentioned some of the names there, but I actually remember when Hernandez and Homicide were sent back to ROH. There was some kind of a deal between TNA and ROH where they were borrowing each other's talent.
Yeah.
And they went to ROH and had like one of the nastiest feuds against the Briscoe brothers.
Oh yeah.
And just yeah. Yeah, everything about those fights, we'll say, not wrestling matches, fights, was just awesome. But no, a big, huge thank you to Homicide for everything he's done in the pro wrestling business. Just fantastic work there. Now, I've got another piece of news that's actually on a first-hand account here. Our Lady Peace. I went and seen them on Sunday. They have decided they are taking back their song, Whatever. They have mentioned it on the show, live and in person, that the song is not going to be about one Chris Benoit anymore.
Right.
It's going to be about mental health and suicide awareness and all that. What do you make of Our Lady Peace actually doing this and actually going out and now performing the song as they've been doing it on this 30th anniversary tour now?
Good on them. Yes, it was a tragedy what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, and I know this is a sensitive subject for a lot of people still, so much time has passed. You need to be able to move past it. Not necessarily move on, but move past it.
And that's exactly what Rain had said, actually.
So good for Our Lady Peace. They are the ones that did give, whether they gave the song to Benoit or whether it was licensed to WWE. But it's their song. Let them make of it what they will. And if they are doing it for the right cause, which they are, then I am 100% for it.
Yeah, because as they performed the song, towards the end of the song, they flashed up a list of numbers on the big video wall they had behind the stage for anybody who's suffering from mental health and all that. So good on them for doing that. I wanted to quickly touch on that story to say that it is true. They are actually doing this. It wasn't just a one-off thing like a lot of people initially thought it was going to be, because we saw the performances in Calgary that everybody that circulated. They are doing it as part of the tour.
Right. And that is fantastic. And it actually leads me to our next topic. And for everything that the man has going on, can we give some thanks and some credit to Vince McMahon for taking care of his superstars? A number of years ago, and I just lost my light, but the now former Sonya Deville shared how Mr. McMahon assisted her after an attempted kidnapping. Now, this did make huge news throughout the wrestling world. And she opened up about this the attempt and the reaction from Vince. In August of 2020, the suspect invaded her home, brought a plastic knife, zip ties, and duct tape. Police caught him, and he was sentenced to 15 years in prison. But speaking on the Ariel Helwani show, Sonya Deville opened up about her ordeal with this. She revealed that the WWE sent security to help move her from her house and into a hotel, where she and Mandy Rose barricaded themselves in their rooms for safety. WWE sent security to meet me there to go in the house, get my stuff out. They got us a hotel in downtown Tampa. I thought the hotel couldn't be in my name because the whole concern was he was going to get out on bail and they weren't going to grant a permit restraining order. Tampa police who were communicating with me were like, he's going to get some kind of bail. I just don't know if he's going to be able to make it. So she was panicking, thought he was going to come back after her. In the interrogation, the suspect had made it clear he's not done with her, and when he gets free, he was coming back after her. So they put the hotel under an alias. They were scared. Vince McMahon's reaction to her attempted kidnapping: he rented her a new place to stay and paid for 24/7 armed security for her and her family.
Wow.
He then called and said, SummerSlam is coming up and he's checking in on me. He asked her, why don't you come to the venue? I want to say hi and hug you. So they drove to the venue, saw him, Triple H, Stephanie McMahon were all there. And he asked what she needed. She didn't know, are you going to be okay staying back at your house? No, I don't think I can go back. She left her ADT camera on and there were reporters all over her front door. She couldn't do it. She'll figure it out. And Vince said, no, what do you want to do? Do you need a place to stay? So again, got her a place to stay in a different part of Florida. Her mom came and stayed with her. Mandy stayed a little, Mandy's mom. So kudos, Vince McMahon, taking care of your talent in a very terrifying situation.
Yeah, I just can't imagine the kind of terror that Sonya and Mandy had both gone through. Because let's not, I mean, we all know that this man was after Sonya at the time, but Mandy happened to be there and she became a victim of circumstance at that time.
Right.
Good on Vince for doing this. Good on the WWE as a whole, I'm going to say, because I have personal convictions about Vince that we won't talk about on the show. But good on them for doing this. Good on them for making sure that the safety of your stars is of the utmost importance, we'll say. I mean, making sure that she had a home, making sure that she was sheltered and that her family was looked after, calling in to check up on her. Those are the things that any major corporation, any major company should be doing to their employees, no matter how low or how high on the totem pole you are. You should be looked at equally in that sense for your employee safety. That's
100%. 100%.
But OMD, you also have something. Since we're talking women wrestlers. I believe you have something of interest involving the 2300 arena.
I do. And this was broken this morning. The Crockett Cup, which is a staple in NWA, returns on May 17th to the 2300 arena in Philadelphia. And this year, Natalya will be joining. Whether she's competing or making an appearance, I don't know. It was announced on Busted Open Radio this morning. I got the report from one Jimmy Corderas.
Yeah, and Jimmy himself, as I'm looking at the post right now too, got it from the official NWA page on Facebook. This is exciting for me. I'm very excited for Natalya because not only is she doing this show, which again is at one of the most historic wrestling venues on this side of the planet, maybe even across the world.
Right.
But she's also doing Josh Barnett's Bloodsport WrestleMania weekend as well. This I'm very intrigued. I'm very excited to see Natty in these other venues. I mean, it's been a while since I've watched her outside of a WWE ring.
Right. And yes,
I do remember watching some of her independent stuff before she came to the WWE. So
right. Yeah, I haven't gone back and watched that, but it does say here WWE superstar Natalya will be competing in an NWA ring. And that is exciting. Like this is now they are truly putting the world in world wrestling entertainment. And I couldn't be happier.
And I've said this before, but it seems like that forbidden door doesn't exist anymore.
Right?
It only exists between AEW and WWE. That's about it.
Yeah.
But no, good on Natty. I'm very excited to see this or see how it goes. There's got to be a way for us to at least watch it. Maybe it's going to be on Triller or Fight TV as they're called, as it's called. I'm intrigued to see it. May 17th, everybody. Tickets are on sale at the 2300 Arena website. So if you're in the Philadelphia area or making plans to go there in May, seriously, do it, guys. Hang on one second. I've got some interesting news that as it relates to, because both you and I are gamers, right?
Yeah.
We both enjoy Jeff Jarrett to a degree. I like him a lot. I know you enjoy him sometimes.
I do. I even try to work a little Jeff Jarrett into my socials after the show.
That's where I'm getting at. This is a little bit on the strange side of me because I'm not sure how this fits. But Jeff Jarrett is joining a video game company. Oh, sorry, I said Activision. I meant to say, I told you Activision before the show. He's joining Acclaim's advisory board. And this press release here says after more than 2 decades, a team of industry veterans have united to bring back one of gaming's most iconic brands, Acclaim. Acclaim, of course, was closed down some years ago, but they're looking to resurrect it.
Okay.
The legendary video game publisher is known for its groundbreaking titles in the 80s and 90s, is officially returning with a bold vision aimed at revitalizing the gaming landscape. Originally founded back in 1987, the relaunch marks an exciting new chapter for the publisher as it seeks to support indie developers and reignite classic franchises. Acclaim will provide much needed resources such as funding, marketing, and PR support, giving independent studios the opportunity to bring their creative visions to a broad audience. One of the key goals for the relaunched Acclaim is to resurrect and revitalize its beloved portfolio of classic IP enjoyed for years by millions of players. To ensure the vision comes to life, Acclaim has assembled an advisory board comprised of esteemed industry leaders, including guys like these are people that I'm familiar with: Russell Binder at Striker Entertainment, Mark Kaplan at Ridge Partners, and Jeff Jarrett. And they're not acknowledging him as AEW, but at Global Force Entertainment. So Global Force is still alive.
It is. That is interesting.
Yeah. Their vast experience and invaluable guidance will play a pivotal role in shaping the future of Acclaim's classic franchises and innovative ventures. I'm intrigued about this because I'm thinking along the lines of because we know Jeff Jarrett is employed by AEW and has been for a couple of years now.
Yes.
I'm wondering if this is a way for Acclaim to get back into the wrestling game industry, because they've made two of the WWF, or sorry, 4 of the WWF games in the 90s, that being they assisted Midway on the In Your House game and the WrestleMania arcade game. They've also made WWF Warzone and the WWF Attitude Era games.
Right.
I'm wondering if with Jeff Jarrett getting involved, if we're going to see a new AEW game from Acclaim.
I'm interested in that. I'm wondering if there is that aspect. But as well, we know that even though as time went on, I mean, he was very successful with running TNA.
Mm-hmm.
Global Force Wrestling, not so much, but that was a whole different can of worms.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing they were successful at was that promotion of New Japan. So when they did the January 4th Tokyo Dome show, the one year.
Right. But I'm thinking it is his business prowess, business sense, and knowledge that is what is doing this. Yes, I'm sure he's there. I'm sure there's probably indie developers out there, because this seems to be where they're looking at, is creating an environment for indie developers to get published.
Yeah. And there's a lot of avenues in the gaming world for indie developers to get their games out there, but there's a lot of hurdles in doing that. And again, a company like Acclaim can definitely be that launching point. You use that term a lot, that launching point for these guys to get their games out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm just trying to look up a list of games that Acclaim is famous for, because right there, right off the top of the screen, they are famous for games like the Turok games, Turok Evolution, Turok 2, Seeds of Evil. They made a pile of the Simpsons games. They were the original makers of the Burnout games before EA took over that. They've also made the Double Dragon games as well. Okay. But this is going to be interesting. I'm happy to. I'm more than welcome. I'm going to be one of the ones that's going to more than welcome Acclaim back into the video game world here.
Yes, absolutely.
But I'm just noticing
there is more in here too, because there's saying Acclaim's leadership and board spans the entertainment industry, licensing icons, professional athletes, living music legends, and seasoned veterans who have defined the intersection of video games and pop culture. Two-time Hall of Famer wrestler Jeff Jarrett, with over 3 decades of experience in the sports entertainment and video game industries, underscores how this wealth of expertise will shape the future of Acclaim. In his words, for more than 3 decades, I've had the privilege to be a part of both the wrestling and gaming universe, which is true. And he's thrilled to now be a partner in the revival of Acclaim, an iconic publisher known for releasing some of the most legendary games of the 80s and 90s. From his early involvement with the publisher's hit 16-bit WWF titles to his experience helping shape the TNA wrestling series, which spawned the first video game wrestler to become a full-time roster member in the Squared Circle, that, of course, being Suicide.
Right.
He's seen firsthand the type of impact great games can have on players and fans. So resurrecting Acclaim is an opportunity to impart the same degree of passion and love to a new generation. So again, this is a veteran giving back.
Yeah, because Jarrett's been he's actually a known gamer, which is quite surprising. Given how he is off stage, he's talked about because I remember when he was at the forefront of the TNA game that came out in 2009. He was a part of all the publicity stunts, everything like that. Did all the commercials, even got into the studio and helped the developers with what to do as far as the game goes.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the game was okay at best, but
yeah,
it was a good launching point for TNA to get their game off, and I'm intrigued to see what Jeff Jarrett can do. I'm intrigued to see how, if this does lead to Acclaimed getting AEW's contract for a game, because I know that AEW and Ukes, their relationship is kind of soured as far as that goes, and and there were rumors that AEW was on the look for another developer for a future game.
Right. And I mean, let's not forget that Jeff Jarrett is an EVP in charge of talent or something over at AEW. So there's
the end for Tony Khan right there.
So
and I'm gonna be there's some substance there,
Yeah.
The only thing I don't really want them to do is, I know with the last AEW game, they were like, oh, we're going to make it look like No Mercy. And that's a high bar, because No Mercy is considered the greatest wrestling game of all time.
Right.
I don't really want them to be doing that again. I just want to see AEW, if they are going to put out a game, make it their own. Don't compare it to previous games. Simple as that.
Absolutely.
But I think it is time that we move on to our Showstopper segment, because there's a lot to unwrap with this one, guys. There's a lot.
On his feet. Oh my God in heaven!
Rey Fenix, guys. That's who we're going to talk about. We're going to show you right here. Phoenix Rises. Rey Fenix is now out of AEW. As reported yesterday, hey, how's it going, Bobby Stats? Glad to have you here. As it was reported yesterday, they have finally come to terms on Rey Fenix's release. Tony Khan and him have. OMD, why don't you take it away here, because you're the one that broke it to us yesterday.
All right. So in the first article, because there is a lot, like Mr. Best just said, Pro Wrestling Insider reports that Phoenix has been released. This was an update, the original on Monday. Noticed fans noticed that Rey Fenix had been removed from AEW's official roster page on its website. This came days after somebody else had reported that more AEW releases may be coming. When a wrestler is removed from the site, and this is for any site, not just AEW, it usually indicates that a wrestler has been released. This has recently happened with Miro, Ricky Starks, and Malachi Black. Fenix had been waiting for his deal to expire because AEW had opted to add more time to it, missed time due to injury. The belief that added time was close to a year, and once that time passes, he will reunite with his brother when he could head to the WWE, as WWE is interested in him. Now, Fenix nor AEW had yet to confirm their release, but in the update it says that PW Insider reports that Fenix has been released. I can understand adding injury time, and I'm all for it, but you know what? When your guy isn't happy, don't make them suffer and sit at home to ride out their contract.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I've always been that way too. Ever since because we broke the news about Ray's contract and Tony Khan's wanting to keep him around because of the injury time. But Jesus Christ, man, if he wants out, and his brother's on his way out, and now his brother's doing some fantastic things in the WWE.
Yeah.
All you're doing is just wasting money on him if you're just going to have him sit out the rest of his contract. Use that money that you would have been paying towards Rey Fenix, and I'm not knocking Rey at all, because I'm jacked to see him come to the WWE. That's the rumor as it is right now, is that he's going to be heading there. Take that money that you're paying that wrestler and bring somebody else in who wants to be there.
Absolutely. And it's going to be interesting to see where they go with Rey Fenix. Are they going to immediately align him with Penta? Are they going to put them on separate brands? Now, there is more, because Rey Fenix had spent a lot of time, and I guess there was reports that they were close to a release before some social media comments from Fenix delayed that.
Mm-hmm.
So there is, in an add-on to this, Fenix may not spend time criticizing AEW following his release. It emerged on March 3rd that Rey Fenix had been released after weeks of negotiations, and he is expected to join WWE, who were already making plans for Fenix as of last week. And Fightful has reported that Fanatics have been preparing merchandise. After injury time was added to Fenix's deal, he publicly expressed his unhappiness, tweeting about inhumane treatment and posting a photo of himself in a straitjacket. Fightful noted that AEW were actually considering releasing Fenix back in November, but his comments complicated things and they kept him under contract. While these allegations have not been addressed publicly, they were denied privately. And they are also expecting Fenix would likely have to agree to a non-disparagement clause as part of this release.
Which is whatever. I mean, like, if I'm Rey Fenix, I'm glad I'm out of that company. I put it all behind me and just move on, not even talk about it.
No, exactly. I mean, they gave you a place to work. We've all had jobs that we don't like. But it's a matter of, you know what? Don't go out there and trash the place just because things didn't work out there or you were unhappy.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, I worked as a telemarketer, okay? And the companies, I'm not going to say names, I didn't care for them.
Right.
But the people I worked with, I loved, Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've got some theories on what they could do with Rey Fenix. Like last night, we saw the that Chad Gable segment. I mean, what if it's Rey? What if it is Rey Fenix? That Chad's going to be bringing in,
right?
that kind of that. There's a lot of intrigue around this because I do remember when Rey Fenix came to the AEW alongside Pentagon. I remember they had a brief feud, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, they've feuded since Lucha Underground. They've been tag team partners and feuded.
Yeah,
they are sort of the two brothers that don't care if they have to face each other.
Mm-hmm. And as we're looking at brothers in the ring on my screen right now, and the Hardy Boys, I love you guys. I love the Hardys. They're better off as a team, not so good as opponents.
Right.
But Rey and Penta, that's a different story. I actually enjoy when they have matches against each other.
100%.
I kind of would like to see them eventually become a tag team because I'm enjoying Penta's run as a single star right now.
Right.
But we talk about that bolstering of the tag team division on Raw. The Lucha Brothers is probably one of the best things you can do is put them together.
Yeah, but I mean, as we discussed last night, even during that amazing tag team title match, you don't want to do the War Raiders dirty by having them have a short reign.
Right, but you don't need to put the Lucha Brothers in that title contention right away. You can give them a bunch of other tag team feuds. No,
and I mean, you know where I stand on tag teams. Like, I don't want a short run for the title. I want 6 to 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are significant. Like, I'm not a big fan of transitional championships.
Yeah, like Bobby Stats is coming in and saying eventually he wants to see the Lucha Brothers and the Creed Brothers go at it, and that's a possibility. Because let's say I'm just off the top of my head, I'm thinking of booking here. Let's say Chad brings in Rey, and Rey has the match against Penta. Rey loses. Chad gets upset. Penta stands up for Rey. Now Penta and Rey are tag team partners. Yeah. And having that fight against American Made.
Yep.
I think this could be very intriguing. Even as we're looking at, you could even see the Lucha Brothers go down to NXT and fight Hank and Tank or the Hardys. Or there's a lot of dream matches you can do with Rey. Even if you put Rey as a solo competitor.
Lucha Brothers versus Fraxium.
Yes. Just yes. That's all I'm going to say about that. Bobby Stats also saying for Axiom. But I think that maybe they already did it in AEW, but a match with the Hardys would be fine.
I think it was a multi-team match, but I do believe they also wrestled together in TNA. Yeah. Impact Wrestling at the time.
And this is I mean, the door is wide open right now for Rey. I mean, it's a surefire shot that he's probably going to end up in WWE. Ooh, Chris Parrish is coming in with some breaking news. We're going to break away from our story here, but he's coming in and saying Bo Dallas is now officially cleared to compete.
I didn't even know he was injured because there was there were no actual reports of him being injured.
Oh yeah, he was hurt. He's been hurt for since the match against the Final Testament.
I had heard nothing. I had even gone back saying they're just dropping the ball because there's no reports of him being hurt.
Yeah, he's been off since then.
That was coming from Fightful saying there was no reports that he's hurt.
Once again, can't trust everything Fightful says.
No.
Bobby Stats saying Rey Fenix and Santos Escobar would be a great match as well. I 100% agree with that one.
Yep.
And since we're talking Latino wrestlers, Rey and Andrade, Penta and Andrade would be great too, actually.
Yep.
No, the world is the world's going to be his oyster as far as when he comes to the WWE. I'm looking forward to seeing them become him reuniting with his brother. And I'm also looking forward to seeing how they work to get against each other in matches in the WWE.
Right.
Because again, I know like we've talked about they're having feuds in Lucha Underground and AEW, but WWE is just a whole other animal, you know?
Yeah, 100% it is.
But no, he's been expressing his frustrations over this whole situation. And it's something that could have, to me, it could have been easily avoided had Tony just given him his release in the first place.
Yeah. But at the same time, you can't go out there. And I mean, I think they're right in the fact that, you know, as I said, I'm okay with injury time being added. But if you know your guy is unhappy, don't just pay him to sit at home.
Yeah.
I can also understand the 90-day no-compete clauses. Like, and I get it. Like, if you want to add, if a guy misses 6 months, fine, keep him on for the 6-month injury time, but don't keep him sitting on the shelf for an additional 3 months because you might not have anything for him creatively. And then release him partway through that, because like I would count that for me. If I'm released after 2 months and sitting on the shelf, or because there's nothing for me creatively for 3 months, I'm taking that as 60 days that I've been inactive.
Yeah, that's the other thing I'm thinking about too is because I'm almost certain TN or AEW has that no compete clause in their contract as well. So I'm wondering, in Rey Fenix's case, are we going to be waiting that 2 months for him to come, or is it a release that says, "Hey, you're done. We're not doing the 60 days. You can go do whatever."
I think this is another one of these situations like we've seen with Ricky Saints, and we are potentially going to see with Miro and Malachi Black.
Yeah. And see, we got Chris Parrish coming in with the Bo Dallas thing here, saying it's also been widely believed that since Triple H and Khan have taken control, insider information has been kept away to the general public better than it's ever been, which is true because it's been really difficult for me to find some behind the scenes news as far as WWE stuff goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, trying to keep things under wraps, like Bo Dallas being hurt. That's a whole keeping the kayfabe character, you know, around, because even when the Undertaker disappeared in '94, they kept the kayfabe going. But really, we all know at that time he actually left to go, and his little boy was being born at the time,
Right.
So, and he also had old injuries that he needed to rest up on because he went 3 years strong with no injuries. Parrish is also coming in and saying Fenix was on injury time, and the agreement was to release him from the injury time. Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out. So there will be no 60 days from based off that comment, I believe. But this totally excites me. Like we've been waiting months and months and months for this whole Fenix debacle to come to an end.
Yes. And I know, like, you, Bubba, are far bigger Lucha fans than me, but I do enjoy the Lucha Brothers. I do enjoy Penta. I do enjoy Rey Fenix. So I'm excited to see where they go.
Yeah, Parrish is also explaining here. Penta, Phoenix's contract was similar to Penta, therefore the time since has been injury time. When you are on injury time, you are not a free agent, which he is now one. So he is, he's free to go wherever. So that's what I was trying to. Thank you, Parrish, for clarifying that there.
Yes.
This is just I'm totally excited about this. I'm curious to see, even if he does go to WWE, because let's just put it this way right now. Yeah, they are preparing for it, but what if Rey pulls a swerve and says, "Hey, I'm going to TNA" or something like that, you know?
Right.
Bobby
Parrish, we
Stats,
don't need to know about you blowing bubbles out your, you know what, to have a bath.
I was just going to totally bypass that comment, but OMD took full advantage of that one. Rey Fenix is going to be, Bobby Stats is saying Rey Fenix is going to be a great addition to the WWE. And you know what? I 100% agree with that. I actually like the fact that there is more of a Latino presence on our WWE
Right.
TV, because right now we've got Andrade, we've got Santos Escobar, we got his two boys, Berto and Angel Garza.
Right.
Over on Raw, we've got the LWO, we've got Penta, and is there any Latinos in NXT? Oh, Carlito as well. Damian Priest is a Latino.
Yep.
Wow,
So is
there's
Bailey.
a lot. That's right too, Bailey. But I can't think if there's any Latinos over down in NXT at the moment.
Lola Vice.
Dragon Lee. Yeah, I mean, like you said it earlier, but the WWE is putting the world in WWE right now with the amount of nationalities that every contracted superstar.
Right.
Paris is saying Rey Fenix to debut at MSG. I mean,
could we see? We do know that there is the draft coming up after WrestleMania, and it is being reported that Phoenix could potentially work WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
But do you wait and make him one of those Raw after WrestleMania debuts? Or you're getting the draft coming up again, which we discussed last night. Do you maybe put together a new faction with Andrade and the Lucha Brothers?
See, I'm not sure, because now Parrish, I wasn't even thinking about this, but the Raws they do at MSG, which next Monday night's Raw is going to be there, usually a pretty big deal. So even adding Phoenix to that show could be something great. And maybe that's where I go back to the Chad Gable thing, where we were left off with him holding a box and trying to open that box and find out what's in there. And what if he pulls out Rey's mask or something like that, you know?
Right.
A lot of intrigue on this show that we've got. A lot of intrigue as far as Rey Fenix goes, but I know you guys are all also intrigued to find out what we've got going on as far as the Turnbuckle affiliation program goes. So take a look.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle affiliation program bring you the week of streams. All times are in Eastern Time. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m., followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Thursday we got total non-stop action with Brace for Impact at 8 p.m. Friday we game again with Unleashed, the Jessica Wilde story at 7 p.m. Following the game, join us for the SmackDown Security Detail at 8 p.m. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. On Sunday be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
Yes, and if you want more information as far as the affiliation program goes, just simple. Go visit the affiliationprogram.my.canva.site, where you will be able to reach out to either one of us about maybe doing some collaborations or wanting to get your foot through the door as far as the podcasting world goes. That's again, affiliationprogram.my.canva.site. OMD, we are close to that 1 hour mark here, so why don't we give out them socials and let the people know what you've got going on?
We can do that, but I do want to say this. I don't know if you caught it on your screen, but next week on NXT at Roadblock, the LFG coaches.
I didn't see that.
Yes. But people, if you're looking for me, you can look for me at my link tree with my homage to Jeff Jarrett here, linktr.ee/OMD show. And coming up, I'm right back here tomorrow night with the gentleman to my left, Mr. Best, as we do the PlayStation Showcase.
Yeah, and if you want to follow me at my socials, you can look for me at linktr.ee/Chris_best83. And just as, oh my God, look who's in the crowd. Breaking news. Masha Slamovich is in the crowd right now, as of course she's getting ready to, she's got the feud with Cora Jade. But if you want to find me at my socials, it's linktr.ee/Chris_best83. And as OMD had mentioned, yes, we are doing the PlayStation Showcase tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, where we're going to be taking a look at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga collection. OMD, actually, before we go, we're going to throw out a little bit of a salute to one Carl Carafel. If you want to buy any one of the merch from the Turnbuckle affiliation program, go to carlcarafel.redbubble.com. Also, Carl Carafel, where is your socials are under here. If you want to follow Carl's socials, go to his link tree, linktr.ee/Carl Carafel. That's KarlKarufel. OMD, what are those famous words we'd like to end the show on?
Ladies and gentlemen, the world is a scary place. Take care of each other. From all of us here at Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle affiliation program, to those of you out there, wherever you are, good night, good luck. We out.